kind of the Hawthorne studies full circle into the present, is that the reason why we're seeing such an uptick in employee surveillance technologies? Is to try to increase the productivity of folks without paying them more, without increasing their work conditions?
By definition. I mean, Dilbert captured it. I've never been able to find that particular strip, but it was the day that everybody started wearing, watches and stuff to monitor. Dilbert, one of the engineers, says, these watches, what are they doing with them? And the evil HR director, Catbird, comes in and says, they're for your benefit. It's so that we can see when you're stressed, to ensure that you are working, that your pulse, your heart rate is really low, when you need breaks, etc. That's why. She said, oh, well, that's okay then. And then Catbird kind of goes to the 18th floor into his dark office and gets onto, the microphone and says, cubicle number 732, heart rate isn't high enough. Give him more work.
Now, I think that's probably part of the reason why people like the working from home so much, because they're not under the scrutiny of other people or their bosses all the time. There's tons of people that go to work and they just kind of hate their jobs. It's probably because of this monitoring that they endure.
I was on the stage in a conference with somebody from a watch company that shall remain nameless. And, they were saying, yeah, we can monitor how many hours you sleep at night and it'll be really good for you. And I'm saying, in what possible world would you need to know that? The guy said, well, if you're an airline pilot. I said, okay, how many airline pilots are there sitting in the audience today? So it's not really the company's job to know how many hours and for your performance rating, potentially, to be measured on that. Did you know that most of the audience were Gen Y, and maybe a couple of Gen Zs, and that they all disagreed with me? And I thought, what? I would have thought that this generation would be on my side, didn't want to be surveilled and monitors, exactly as you're suggesting. But because I grew up in an age where we weren't surveilled and now we are, I can see the difference between living in a time where you weren't surveilled, and I can compare it to a time where we are. And I guess you guys are just about of an age as well, where you can also remember a time where you weren't surveilled. People who've grown up in the surveilled age, it's all they know. It's like lobster in the warm.
Totally used
well,
to it.
you grew up, Max, and this is meant to be a double entendre, before 1984, so good for you.